Hey guys, today I just wanted to rant about something that I feel like I'm alone on, and that's open world game. And I'm gonna be entirely honest, I'm just gonna start the video swinging. I'm fucking tired of them. I'm so tired of open world games, man. And I'm so tired of every game feeling like it has to be open world and as a result, just throwing a bunch of menial horseshit for the player to do, or locking actual cool moments behind doing that menial horseshit in the open world. Of course, right now I'm talking about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I have been trying my best to get through the game. I'm like 55 hours into it on chapter 10, and I have what I think many people would call open world ADHD. This essentially means that if there is something to do, a side quest or something like that, I must do that side quest. Now, this is further exacerbated, exponentially so, in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because they start the game off swinging. They start the game off telling you, oh, yeah, you need to build up your relationship. No spoilers or anything, but they tell you you need to build up your relationship with your party. In order to do that, you need to do the side activities, because that progresses your relationship with them. And then if you don't do that, then there will be main storyline ramifications as a result. So they literally start the game off telling you you have to do side shit. And on top of that, there is so much side shit in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's insane. Not only do you have the side quests, you have this card game that you have to play, and you have all of the open world activities. And the open world activities are just boring. Almost none of them are interesting or engaging in any way, shape, or form. It will literally just be climb this tower and then press a button. And the climbing of the tower for 90% of them is just climbing up a ladder, maybe two ladders. Press this button, it'll mark a bunch of other horse shit on your map that you then have to do. This other horse shit is something as simple as go to a crystal and press triangle 3 times. One of the more engaging ones is it will go in a circle and it will tell you a bunch of QTEs to press, and in a certain like rhythm. So it'll be like square, 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 triangle, triangle, triangle. And then the circle will go and you have to press the buttons. Wow, so engaging, so innovative, so great. Probably the only good ones are the combat ones because that will have you facing unique versions of the enemies, that you'll find normally in the open world, but it'll also give you some neat little challenges to do in order to pass that combo trial. Now the problem is you're probably thinking, well, Zach, you don't have to do any of this stuff, and you're very right. You don't have to do any of this stuff, even though, as I said, I do have open world ADHD, so I feel compelled to do all of this stuff. Add on top of that the fact that I review games, and I am constantly faced with people saying I did not play enough of the game. If I beat the game, but I did not beat it to their quality standard, you know, which is annoying enough. But the thing is, you need to do some of this stuff. So, for example, a lot of the actual side quests that progress relationships with the story will be tied into those crystals missions where you press, you know, triangle 3 times. And then after you've done the crystal things 3 times, you've uncovered the will of the planet and extra memories and stuff like that. You've found transmuter chips, which means you need to then go to an area on a chocobo, stand there sniffing for 10 seconds, and find all of these buried treasures, which, once again, not fun or engaging in any way, shape, or form. You just stand there on your chocobo, you press up arrow, he sniffs around, you follow the trail, you probably sniff again because the trail goes cold or it runs into an object, right? You have to navigate the area, then you go over, you press down arrow, and you dig it up. right? And then you need to do those and find those transmuter chips in order to complete some of those side quests, or you need to do the combat trials so that you can unlock and get like this actual cool boss fight, or you need to do I'll say the proto relic stuff is actually pretty interesting. That varies based on region, but some of them are very annoying. Like one of them, you have to play a fucking board game 4 different times, and the board game gets progressively harder, and it was just not fun at all. Um, this has just led me to feel like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and here's why I'm talking about this in the context of all open world games. Final Fantasy VII Remake, not open world. I thought that the pacing suffered a little bit with the side missions and side content, but not that much. And overall, I really enjoyed the game. I think I give it an 8 or an 8.5. I really, really liked it. Now playing Rebirth, they've made the game open world, and I think that overall, the quality of the game, like the minute to minute quality of what you are playing, is significantly decreased over the previous game, just because they've moved to open world and felt the need to add all of this menial horseshit in order to keep the player engaged. But here's the thing, it's such surface level engagement. It's engagement only to the point of the player is currently actively doing something. They are pressing buttons on the controller, but there's no actual engagement. There's no, dopamine being released or anything like that from the things that you're doing, because they are just so mind-numbingly boring. It reminds me of anybody that plays something like Destiny or any of these just grindy games, right? Where you talk to them and they're like, yeah, I just like something I can, listen to a podcast and play, or listen to music and play. And you go, okay, so you just want something to keep away the thoughts, right? That's really what this is you just want a game that's keeping you busy enough to keep away all of those thoughts, held in the recesses of your mind. And if you look at the releases, right? Today is March 18th. If you look at the releases, then you have on the 21st, Rise what's it called? Horizon. The Horizon game comes out to PC, right? Open world. And then you have the 22nd, Dragon's Dogma 2, big release, open world. They're touting 4 times the size of the first game's map. All right. And then you have Rise of the Ronin, which is open world, Team Ninja, the guys behind Neo and stuff like that. And it's like there's just this push towards open world games. And I feel that on average, almost every single game is made worse going open world. And I don't know if this is a hot take or what. I feel like it is, because obviously they're making open world games a lot, so people must like them. And I think really it is just one of those things where people feel as though they're getting more value for their dollar spent. But if you were to look at the quality of what you're getting, it's shit. It is shit. Like I said, if you take the minute to minute quality of a 30-hour playthrough of Final Fantasy VII Remake, that minute to minute quality and the pacing of the narrative and everything is so vastly superior to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's, 70, 80 hours. And even though you're getting more hours, the quality of the content is just diluted. And it reminds me of, the old Total Biscuit saying, rest in peace. But he used to always say that, do you want a game with the width of an ocean but the depth of a puddle, right? And that's essentially most open world games. And it's interesting because people give Ubisoft games shit. Really ever since Far Cry 3, they have like found that formula of Far Cry 3, and then they've just tried to like recycle it into games over and over and over. And people give Ubisoft shit all the time for this, but I mean, obviously people are buying it, people are playing it, or else they would not continuously, churn out this same formulaic garbage. And I'm just after playing through Rebirth, I'm still not done with it, you know. I will do a review of it when I'm done with it. But after just playing through Rebirth now, it just has me really noticing how rare it is for an open world game to be good. It's really fucking hard. And I think the key to it is not adding in a bunch of that menial horseshit. I mean, take a look at some of the like best open world games, right? Let's go and we think about a Fallout New Vegas. Fallout New Vegas, one of my favorite games of all time, obviously open world. When is there a single time where you're walking and it's like, oh, scan all of these flowers, you know? Collect all these flowers and bring these to someone, or oh, climb this tower and scan things. You know, that never ever happens, right? It's simply the player is exploring on their own and they're naturally coming across things that fit within the world and don't break the pacing at all. And it's an experience. And then you look at something recent like Elden Ring, right? Elden Ring doesn't have any of this, you know, for lack of a better term, like Ubisoft shit in it. Like it is just pure exploration. And if you find a statue, oh, that's going to give you a, you know, a beam of light towards like a cave or a dungeon or something, right? And you're going to go and you're going to explore that, and like all of the things in Elden Ring are so gameplay focused. None of them break up the gameplay. You know, it has its gameplay loop. It doesn't need to add 70 fucking mini games like something like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has, right? It doesn't have to do that because the core gameplay is so good with the game that it can rely entirely upon that to keep the player entertained for 100 plus hours. Or you look at Breath of the Wild, it's the exact same thing. Realizing, or Tears of the Kingdom, you know, which I prefer, but some people prefer Breath of the Wild. Realizing how all of these mechanics interplay with one another, and, you know, you don't have all of these, like, really just useless, annoying things in the game. You know, and this was my problem with Cyberpunk as well. As Cyberpunk, a lot of people really, really liked, but for me, I felt like I was like going 10 feet, and then it's like, oh, there's a gig here. You want to start this gig? Oh, your phone is ringing, and dudes want to do shit all the time. And it's like, it almost never just lets the player go about things in their own way and naturally discover things, which I think is where open world works the best. Open world works the best by far when it is a unique and interesting world that the player wants to explore, and the gameplay foundation there is so good that the game can rely upon that gameplay foundation. It doesn't have to add all of these, you know, shitty bells and whistles. It just allows the player to explore and experience things on their own. And I think that's why Elden Ring is so successful. It's why Breath of the Wild is so successful, Tears of the Kingdom, right? And yeah, I don't know. For a long time it was just like I felt like a grumpy old man. I felt like I was getting older, and as a result of getting older, I just wanted more, you know, cohesive and linear experiences where the pacing was consistent and I could just play through, you know, and even if the game is longer, on the longer side, you know, as long as I could just play through and do the stuff, I thought that would be fine. Um, but now I'm just realizing I think it's just shitty open world design, because while I say that I, you know, the title is probably something like I hate open world games, I just hate this new, I say new, but you know, it's been going on for several years now. Just this open world formulaic shit. You know, it doesn't feel like the game naturally lends itself to being open world. It feels as if it was something tacked on. And, you know, I'm crossing my fingers. I'm hoping Dragon's Dogma 2, from everything I've seen, it doesn't seem like it's going to be one of these games that has like all of this horseshit added in. Horizon, I'm pretty sure is going to be one of those games that has a bunch of horseshit thrown in. And I don't actually know about Rise of the Ronin. I have no idea. I'm hoping that that's really good. But if I were to try and think about games that have felt like they've thrown in all of that shit but still been good, um, I honestly think there's only two examples I can think of. And that's the one that started it all, Far Cry 3. I think Far Cry 3 is really, really good. Mostly because when all of these extra things were being, posed to the player, they were exactly that. They were like extra and new, and they weren't in every single game. And I think Ghost of Tsushima does it really well because Ghost of Tsushima is one of those worlds that you just naturally want to explore and spend time in. So it works really, really well for that game. And I think that while it does have some Ubisoft shit like clearing out outposts and stuff like that, it is done in a hyper, like, concentrated formula. Like, it is so perfectly diluted. It is like 100% pure, the best version of this possible. So I understand why some people may not like Ghost of Tsushima, even though it is really, really good in what it does. If you don't like at all what it does, obviously, I can understand why people don't like it. But anyway, I wanted to rant about this, and this is just an actual pure rant because I feel like a psycho. I feel like most people love open world, and I get it. For most people, they want their dollar per hour to go very, very far when they purchase a game. Um, and I was the same when I was younger, but now that I'm older, you know what they say, right? When you're younger, you have more time than you have money, and then when you're older, you have more money than you have time. It's kind of just how things work out. And, you know, um so I understand both sides, right, of the coin, but nowadays I'm far more on just give me a good experience. I won't even say like a number of hours it has to be. I am okay if you can make a 60 or 80-hour game that's just consistently really good. I mean, I put a lot of time into Tears of the Kingdom, for example. And the shrines causing me to like really think outside the box and just creating things to navigate the world and stuff like that and all the mechanics there kept me interested the entire time. I just think it's so much harder to keep someone interested. It's so much harder to make an Elden Ring than it is to make a Dark. You know what I'm saying? It's much, much, much harder. Which is why one of the big reasons Elden Ring is actually so fucking impressive. But yeah, anyway, this was just built up frustrations from trying to get through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and then just realizing, oh fuck, 3 games are coming out in the next week, and all 3 are open world. What is going on here? But yeah, let me know. Do you guys have open world ADHD? Do you feel compelled to do all of the side activities, or are you just one of the naturally gifted people that I will always be envious of that can just beeline a main story and not even look both ways at all? Just fly through one of these games and then just have no regrets whatsoever. If you are, congratulations, dude. You are so lucky, and I wish that I was like that. But also, at the same time, I don't, because some of the greatest moments in something like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth are unfortunately locked behind the side content. So it is this, just push and pull and kind of an annoying situation that you find yourself in where it's like, in order to experience some of the greatest moments of the game, I have to go through so many mid moments or below mid moments. Anyway, that's a whole lot of talking. Thanks for stopping by. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see all of you in the next video or some Rooney. Bye-bye.